Hello collective, welcome to the channel. It's October 1st, 2025. We'll check in with Spirit, get us a storyline. In the central energy, we've got the Hermit, research. So it's like the collective is moving on, like there's a separation happening, and so you may be experiencing thoughts or picking up on thoughts that of rejection, of like not wanting to play the game, not really wanting to move into the future, not really wanting to trust anymore those identities or groupings of identities that have proven themselves unsavory. And you may not want to have anything to do with them, and I don't blame you, and I'm hoping that that is the case. I truly, honestly do. And, you know, there is this thing where, you know, I think it's a human thing, you know, where we have the tendency to lump everybody into categories, you know. And sometimes it's just easier to throw the whole batch away than to try to pick the good apples out of the rotten basket or whatever. In the challenge position, we've got the Hermit here, the central energy in the challenge position. This came out, it flipped into the reverse. We've got Page of Wands reversed. So somebody is creating conflict. In the subconscious, we've got the Ace of Swords reversed. Somebody's lying. Or they're confused by lies. Some kind of brutality. In the recent past, the Moon card. So there's illusions and stuff. You know, in this world, we've got folks who have made an industry out of, you know, for profit regarding other people's experiences of life. And it's easy to just say, you know, there are those who are involved in that business, and there are those who ignore it and don't offer any attention or protection for it. So there's a couple of categories here, both unworthy of really honoring with life force energy or any kind of respect, you know, really. Apathy is more in line for that. We've got the, what is that? The Six of Cups, but it came out in the reverse. Somebody's trying to hide what they've done in the past. They gotta leave. You're not repeating the past. The past isn't part of your future. the lens is being looked through. You know, oh, we got the Lovers here, Two of Cups. So, you know, you got that, you know, there's a whole bunch of sneaky jacks out there or whatever. They always say, you know, future proves past or whatever the heck that phrase is. So it's like timeline travelers and manipulators of experience have this formula, I suppose, that you might call it. In the environment here, but this is like the past is in the reverse. So it's like the past isn't coming to the near future. It's like there's no, we're not doing that again. We're not going to repeat the past. Regarding love and partnerships, we've got in the environment, we've got the Eight of Cups. Somebody's disappointed, getting left behind. I really want to tell you how much I appreciate being able to do this for you all, because when I come home and I'm having, you know, picking up, you know, as an empath, I'm picking up on this negativity. It's really helpful for me to get out of that and then to get into this story and then to be able to share it with you. So I appreciate you for that opportunity. Thanks very much for being so receptive. Hopes and fears. They're withdrawing. There's abandonment. Ooh, death. End of a cycle. End of a cycle. We're not going to repeat the past, because in the near future we've got nostalgia in the reverse. So in the near future we're leaving that behind. There's death. Somebody's getting left behind with this partnership here. The outgoing energy. Ace of Pentacles. You've got a new venture. A new prosperous venture. What was is old. You're leaving it behind. Leaving it behind. This illusion. This illusion. Or it could be, well, it could be that the King of Wands is overcoming challenges of illusion brought about by this conflict here. And stepping into his reward. Nine of Pentacles. We do have a Three of Wands here. So there's preparations. There could be some kind of an overseas opportunity. It could be that this is a big, it could involve more people than just a single expression. Some kind of financial opportunity with the Page of Pentacles. And we've got the World. This is a completion. A completion of this cycle. And right now, it's like, you know, you've got those people that were trying to trap you, you know, claim you, sacrifice you, trap your energy so that they could continue to draw off of it. And you're about ready to break free. And it's this, oh, what the heck? I didn't pull one for there. Sorry. Let's do this. Intention and expectation. We got the Moon, illusion, intention, expectation. Please, what's that card? I'll miss that spot there, Spirit. Yeah, Knight of Swords, trying to defend their beliefs. Okay, because they're getting kicked out. They're not coming forward. Okay, and then on the bottom, all right, and so now they're in despair over this conflict. Now they're sorry that it ever happened. Okay. You know, there's rhetoric like, you know, that's spinning through the head. You know, these people who are getting cast out of your life, or you are being plucked out of theirs. Like there's messaging coming through that they want you to believe that it's going to be exactly like it was with them. that there's gonna be pain, that you're gonna lose your ability to receive pleasure, that somebody's gonna get angry and betray you, unalive you, throw you back into the pit. You know, there's all these kinds of thoughts that are going through the mind, and that's coming from these ones. Because you're leaving them behind. It's over. It's really over. And they want you to believe, like they're here trying to think fast, like, oh no, what do I do? Well, I got to convince, you know, whoever that they just need to stay. They need to reject it, avoid it, you know. They're desperate to get you to, they're in a nightmare. They've lost you. They really need you. And look, we got the Hermit here. We've got broken promises. So you're doing your research on promises. Did people honor their promise? Did they do what they say they were going to do? Especially in regards to love. That was one of the things that's always gotten me, you know, and it's happened my whole life. My mother started like that. She would make a promise, like a really big, beautiful promise that would get me excited and I'd really look forward to it. And then time would go by and I would mention it. And then it would be like, oh, okay, here in a little bit, right? Well, then before you know it, 5 years go by. And then she's wondering why I'm upset, you know? And it's like, well, because you lie. You make promises, you know, and then get the hopes and the all this up, and then they never come true. The promises never happen. Imagine a lot of you have had families like that, where they were promising you things, and then it would just be like, oh, I forgot, sorry. Oh, all right. So you're doing your research, or somebody's doing their research on those who broke their promises, especially regarding love. We've got the Page of Wands in the reverse. So this is an F-boy, lacking direction. You know, they were using their sex to create conflict. They were tempted by the snake. They made promises in love and then they broke it. Tempted by the snake. They got off on lying. They got off on it. Like in their mind, they're like, no, and they're lying. They're going to rip your heart out. They're going to feed your energy to this freaking black hole soul or whatever. And they're excited. And so the passion, right? Oh yeah, they get off on that. Distant. They could be at a distance. This could be one of them astral traveling, energy harvesting, sex you up, dream lover, mofos, whatever. We got the moon. Illusion. Adrift. Illusion. Their moon. In fear. Maybe they were afraid of settling down. This says not willing to settle down or be responsible. Fear, anxiety. They weren't willing to settle down and be responsible. They can't go forward. Like, you can't build a foundation on this who lies, who casts illusions, who plays games, who they don't protect a foundation. They're just out there trying to lie and they make promises, they cancel promises, and they play with souls and love and energy and family and foundational stability. You got somebody here, Knight of Swords, they're trying to think fast. They want to escape. They've been using love as an escape. They want to use somebody's love as an escape. We got this Six of Cups in the reverse. Like, you're not bringing the past forward. Somebody wants to live in the past. They got to leave home. You've got your independence. We've got secrets. Someone's not telling the whole story. They're not telling the truth. They're tangled up. They're unable to free themselves from something. So you've got somebody coming in. Wow. They got to live in the past. Maybe they got to go back and repeat the past for lying. They're tangled up in this web. of broken promises and lies. Betrayal of love. 2 of Cups. Forgiving. They want your forgiveness. We've got 8 of Cups. Leaving behind. You're leaving it behind. Guilty. They're guilty. They're getting left behind. They were lying and cheating. So there's death here. And you're picking up on, at least I am, if you're an empath, like as I am, you're picking up on what's happening. And, you know, if you're very sensitive, it will feel like it's your own thought. It's your own desire. It's your own wish. You want to reject, reject, reject. Don't get involved. No. You know, you want to get out of here. Now, these guys, they're desperate to bring you back, you know, to have you reject that. Same talk. So there's death here. This is an end of a cycle. And we've got rabbit hole. There's a metamorphosis. Some kind of crazy drama. They're drowning in it for playing games with love. They're drowning in a crazy drama for playing games with love. They got themselves stuck in a rabbit hole. You've got an Ace of Pentacles here, a new venture. A new venture. And they're grieving. They're grieving over your abundance. They tried to destroy you and steal it from you rather than love you for who you are. They tried to hurt. They did hurt you. And they tried to destroy you. Everything they built off of you, off of the suffering of many flames, is crumbling. Your light. They lost. They lost. And now they're struggling. They could be struggling. It could be very hard to get another notch in the headboard, to get you trapped or caught up in this love spell, get you caught up in these lies, these illusions. You're a diamond. You can see right through it. You're shining. You know. And you're leaving. You're leaving this childish bullpucky behind. This is ending. It's ending. These rocky moments, these things of getting your heart crushed, of being burned by love or whatever, or the lack of it. They didn't see this coming. They did not see this coming. It's all falling apart. They're reaching out for you, but love is eluding them. You don't even want them. They're full of anxiety because you're being very aggressive. You know, they ignored your needs. They proved how little you meant to them. They proved how little you meant to them. And now they want an exit plan because their cup is empty. And it's like they need you back. They need you back. But you're tired. They got to face it here. You're tired. You're emotionally exhausted from dealing with these stupid games. And you're not doing it anymore. They're in despair. It's like we got these people out there, they thought their sex was like heaven or whatever. And it seems to me like there's a lot of folks out there who would rather just see the human race disappear than get involved with that energy ever again. It's like, God, I'm sorry, but I don't want to continue with this game, this rabbit hole. Playing with love, trapping people in your web. So you're doing your research on those who did not keep their promises, those who were breaking hearts, purposefully telling lies, creating conflict in their lives, making themselves absent after they get somebody pregnant. Creating conflict, tempted by the snake, destroying somebody's life, thinking themselves clever, masters of fate. Chicken in the reverse, you're not afraid of them. They were creating conflict for you. They're challenged because you're not afraid. We've got Ace of Swords in the reverse, so they're a liar. They don't tell the truth. They're all about brutality and malice. They could be at a distance, spying on you with a very limited perception. The Moon card, they could be full of anxiety, not willing to settle down or be responsible. They just like to bring pain to the hearts of people. We've got Justice, so they behave very unjustly. They were not fair. There could be some form of punishment, which is this Knight of Swords is rushing in, looking for an escape, trying to defend their beliefs on using love as an escape, on swapping place. Like, I trapped one, she loves me, and it's okay, I can take her place because she gave it to me, she loves me. But you know what? When people decide to love you, it's not so, they're not throwing their life away. They're thinking they're going to be building and adding value to their soul by building with these folks here, and then they go ahead and sacrifice them, thinking it's lawful, it's legal, it's moral, it's ethical, it's what I deserve. Teacher. This could be a teacher who taught people how to love over so that they could get themselves a benefit. They could go ahead and be a jackass and hurt people and destroy things while gaining a benefit. So we've got living in the past. They may have to go back and do it again. Only this time do it without you. They weren't telling the whole story, the whole truth. They're tangled up. They're unable to free themselves from this secret, this web of lies. We've got here and now. Here and now. I tell you, man, sometimes I do not like being an empath. I do not like feeling this stuff because it feels, you know, so personal. Here and now. So right now, this says in the near future, and it's like here and now. So being called home, directed back to yourself, your path. So it's like whoever these guys are, it's like they got the Six of Cups in the reverse. So we're not repeating the past, or they're stuck in the past. You're leaving home. You're moving forward. You're not bringing the past forward with you. They're tangled up in their secrets. They can't free themselves from that. They're being directed back to their path. They're being directed back to their path. They got to go do it again, and they got to do it without you. Two of Cups unions. They didn't mean to hurt you. Oh, they most certainly did. Or they just didn't care. Well, and it's a little too late. We got kin. So family, there might be some family that wants your forgiveness. You're leaving them behind. It's like total divorce. It's like, no, there's no like contract over. No more ties. They're no longer family. God said no. God's giving you a new family. This kin that tried to bury you in hell for eternity, there's no forgiveness. They're guilty and they're getting left behind. They got to go back and deal with this tangled web that they tried to bind you up in for entertainment. They're guilty of lying, cheating, stealing, hurting, and they found it entertaining. So there's death here. Rabbit hole, crazy drama. They're drowning. They're going under because they were playing games with love. They were playing games with love, with the innocence of children, with the innocence of naivety, with the innocence of this purity, this beautiful, vibrant, loving energy that was supposed to help you be abundant. Fucking morons. Fuck. Excuse my language. There's no freaking intelligence there. Important. They're grieving. They may feel that you're important now. It didn't work out the way you'd imagined. They may be an important person officially. Attention. There's some sort of attention to this important person or something important. There's something important being given attention. Somebody's grieving because attention is on them and what they did here. You got creative with keeping your house clean, your mind, your body, your energy. You're a sovereign freaking being, and they made you invisible. Buried you, tried to trap you there in this freaking web, in this rabbit hole. You did not do anything to deserve this, and you survived it. You survived it. And now you have objectivity regarding this driver, these drivers of lives, of minds, of relationships. You know both sides of it. You can look at it very objectively. You know the truth of it. You've recorded everything. And these players, these snake players, look, they're all masculines. Snake, 3 men, and a player. We got at least 5 men here who think they're important. They're getting disconnected for playing around like this. Dogs make better company. They're deluded. Doing your research on those who broke their promises, absent parents, those who made a promise to stick around, maybe with a pregnancy, they wanted to make a family, they broke their promise, they made themselves absent, they left you with a big load of lies that you had to deal with. Unfinished business. They created conflict in your life. They were tempted by this snake. They're challenged because you're not afraid. You're not afraid, and you feel that they are unworthy. They were lying to you with the Ace of Swords in the reverse. They could be at a distance, spying on you, on your social media, or trying to ask or project or pry into your mind or your energy, like a little paw master. Peeping Tom, groper. Holding back. Holding back. We've got illusions, and we've got not willing to settle down or be responsible. We've got justice in the reverse. They were very unfair, very selfish. Very prideful. Oh, they thought they were all that. Oh, they thought they were all that. Look at this Knight of Swords coming in, trying to defend their beliefs. They were taught to use love as an escape. They thought that they were going to take your place. Somebody taught them that this was the way to do it. They didn't need to go be responsible and actually do the work. They could just F you over and take your place because they're so freaking clever. Unexpected outcome. You're not reliving the past. You're not bringing the past forward with you. You're moving forward. You're out of here and you're not bringing the past forward because they were lying. And they can't free themselves from this stupid web they were trying to trap you in. And it's here and now. It's happening here and now. They're being called back to their path. They got to go back. Because they're guilty. Here and now, they're seen guilty. Their path is calling them. They got to live in the past. They got to go back into the past and do it because they were doing work to try to bind you to the past. They wanted you stuck in the past, in whatever hellscape this is supposed to be. But instead, they bound themselves. You got unified love here. A Two of Cups connection. Then somebody wants forgiveness, this kin, for lying. They want forgiveness for lying on you, about you, to you. You're leaving them behind because they're guilty of lying and cheating, and they were entertained by it. And now they don't know what to do because they're foul. They're foul. They're completely foul. There's death here. Crazy drama in a rabbit hole. They played games at love with your innocence, your purity, your beautiful, delightful, magical self. So vibrant. They're drowning and going under. They're overwhelmed and stressed out. You were innocent. You were innocent. They were trying to frame you with their vile ways. You're getting this Ace of Pentacle abundance and they're grieving. There's some attention that is important. Chaser. Somebody chasing after you doesn't want to chase after you anymore. They want forgiveness because you have been reunited. And they're confused regarding your soul tie or regarding soul ties. They were daydreaming, longing for you. The truth is out. They wanted to be you. And there's disagreements by the shadow side. They missed their opportunity for being you. They effed around and found out. Now they want to escape their destiny. They're stuck in this reflective mirror, illusionary magic, whatever they were doing. And they want to fix the connection here. Equal give and take. But they're receiving exactly what they gave to you because they tried to sabotage your love, your future. People are talking about the mistakes they made. Your absence, there's space between you and them. They're feeling it and they're broken and shattered by it, feeling the damage of it. Nothing they can do about it. It's over. But you might be picking up on the mentality of it, the energy of it. It's just this, you know, it's as long as we're connected, somehow it will be foul at some point because they keep pushing in on the impasse, trying to hook themselves into your freaking vessel, which is a beautiful, sensitive transmitter receiver of the divine. The divine is supposed to move through you, heaven, which is supposed to be birthed here in this realm. And these guys effed it all up by being lustful thieves who played games with love. And they brutalized the mothers and the children. And then they did unheard of things to the men. Much of it without their knowledge even. So you got the Hermit here. You're doing research on those who broke their promises and made themselves an absent father or mother. There's unfinished business here. We've got balance. We still have things to resolve. We need to bring balance and a perfect state of harmony here. They were here creating conflict, tempted by the snake, and they're challenged because you're not afraid and you know they're unworthy. And you're not worried about it. You're not afraid of it. You're not worried about it. These people are unworthy. They were causing chaos, lying in the imagination, they from a distance with a limited perception and misperception. They're spying on you. They might be getting held back from your imagination, from your mind. They can't tap into your mental body anymore with their stupid Neuralink or whatever. Their little nano freaking computers that they like to float upon the wind. The vapors. So you got somebody in the moon casting illusions. They weren't really willing to settle down. They were very unfair. They're very prideful. They could be having some kind of anxiety regarding some form of punishment, because the truth is revealed. They're rushing forward, looking for an escape. They were trying to use love as an escape. That's their intention. That's what they were taught. It's an unexpected outcome. This could be a teacher. We've got indecision in the reverse. This card says, I use my intuition in all aspects of life. Like they may be disconnected from their intuition. They don't have anything to fall back on. They didn't see this coming. They didn't see this coming. Living in the past, they got to go do the past again. You're not repeating it. You're leaving home. They got to go back. They're unable to free themselves from this web of secrets that they were spinning. Here and now, they're being called back to that path because they're guilty of messing with you, of messing with your services, messing with you, who feels good when you can help others. They're guilty of messing with you and your services. They took them from you. And you know, I had a dream once where I had all these people, like these kin or whatever, in the spirit realm. They were coming up and taking my stuff, getting access to my accounts. And one day they were really upset because they couldn't access it anymore. It's like access had been severed. They were complaining about it. Freedom in the reverse. So you've got the Two of Cups here. So they want unified love. They want partnership. Those who wanted to have a marriage, a family, stability, safety, care. These people, they want forgiveness. They say they didn't mean to hurt you, but they've been doing it for centuries. You've been going through birth and death for some time while they've been siphoning your energy and your spiritual inheritance over and over and over again. They lied on you bad, and now they're losing their freedom. Bunch of jerks. They're getting left behind. You don't have to do this anymore. Divine Mother said this was your last lifetime story. They're guilty of lying, cheating, stealing. They thought it was fun. They thought it was entertaining. Now they don't know what to do. And again, forgiveness. They want your forgiveness. And man, forgiveness, you know what? Forgiveness is release. Forgiveness is cutting something off and letting it go. You're going to forgive the debt by letting it go. Never thinking about it again. They cease to exist. They're in regret, overwhelmed. You were innocent, and they effed around and played so bad, trying to unalive you, stick you in this rabbit hole. Maybe they did, and you climbed out of it somehow. So you're getting an Ace of Pentacles. You've manifested yourself a new opportunity here, a new venture. God's letting you live. You're still in the book of life. These ones got to go back. They got themselves tangled up in a web of death, by wishing it on you. A life of no love, broken promises. They're grieving. There is attention being brought to something important or an important person who is chasing after your destiny. They don't want to chase it anymore. They could be receiving some form of discipline. They need to surrender their need to control you. They have failed. You trust the inner voice that is guiding you. And pride. I love myself and I see myself in everyone. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. So that could be like a healthy sense of pride, you know, something to not necessarily be proud of, but to be grateful for, that connection to source. That you love yourself, that you love that part of yourself that you see in others, you know, that inner voice that is part of you, that's trusting, that you trust, that's guiding you. You see that in others as well. That's a healthy thing. You're here in purpose. You know what you're here to do, and that's got somebody afraid. They're afraid of your courage. You just won't stop. And you're healthy, and you're happy, and you're persevering through happiness. And you are very, very happy that this is over. There's death here. Somebody's in grief because you are grateful and thankful. Your friends are bringing about a change here. Abundantly. If you find yourself with those kinds of thoughts moving through your mind, you know, you're picking up on this energy, these thoughts that desperately want you to reject. So they're running verbiage through the head. Reject, 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 reject. Right? And you're picking up on it because you're an empath. You could be having a happy, fine, fine day, and all of a sudden, these thoughts start flowing in, right? Soap opera. Somebody's having a bad freaking day, and they're running this soap opera through your mind about how everybody's a bad person, and everybody is just a horrible, let's just destroy it all and start again, right? They want you to be, they want to destroy your hope. As usual, it's the typical script. So forgive yourself if that happens, because it's not your thoughts. You're picking up on it. And, you know, a lot of us, you know, when we were young and in life, we were having these kinds of thoughts, and we didn't understand, you know, why. One minute we could be so damn happy, and the next minute we could be so disturbed, right? And that's because somebody saw your happiness and they stuck something in there. These invisible watchers or whatever. Those who were assigned you and your number upon birth to monitor you and your progress, and to only allow so much or whatever, to be in charge of those hard lessons you must learn, right? Driving you into failure, into that rabbit hole, and trying to destroy your love so that you would drown in misery. This was their entertainment task. The Hermit is here doing some research on those who did not keep their promises. They made promises they did not keep. They made themselves absent. This is an absent parent. They did not care about the family that they promised to care for. They left them and thought throwing money at the situation would be sufficient. And many of them didn't even do that. And I know it was a program which is really sad. We got unfinished business here. We got to bring a state of perfect harmony into the world. You're very strong. You're very courageous. This could be a challenge. Got to restore harmony in the world. Compassion. Because right now there is no room for it. In this scenario here, there's no room for compassion. These ones, they took advantage of it to the fullest extent that they possibly could, and now that supply that they need no longer cares whether they exist or not. They've been found unworthy. They caused chaos and drama, created a lot of conflict in your life. They were tempted by the snake. They wanted it to be dark, scary, and brutal. But you wound up being courageous. You wound up facing your fear. You're not worthy. You're unworried. You see that they're not worthy. And you're calling it out. The Hermit again, you've done your research. It's like I've done my research. And you're not afraid to call it out. It's like you see them. They brought chaos to the world. They were tempted by this snake here. This is spiritual path. It's like the snake wanted to infect the spiritual path. They wanted to destroy where you were going with it, but you weren't afraid, and you're not worried about this. You're very, very resourceful, and you're serious about getting down to the truth. You got your light shining there, right there in the central energy and in the challenge. They're challenged because of your research. You see very clearly they've not kept their promises. They didn't create a solid, stable foundation for the children that they promised to raise. Now they got to go learn how to be strong, to be stable. They were lying. They were very full of, they were brutal. They're at a distance right now with a limited perception. They might be spying on your social media. We've got holding back, imagination. So they could be held back from your mind, or maybe they're being held back because of their mind. We've got 6 of Wands here. Victory. So you got this, you got all this strength. You may be having a strong influence here with your balance, with your ability to maintain balance during this onslaught of it wasn't just betrayal. It was brutality. And it wasn't just brutality. You know, it was entertaining to them. It was fun, man. I mean, some people, you know, they get into this brutality, and I mean, maybe they're brutal. Maybe some people are, you know, they're dangerous, and they can be very brutal. But some people, just because they are very dangerous, doesn't mean they're gleefully going out there looking for a target so they can just tear somebody's world up and, you know, congratulate themselves. There are dangerous people out there right now dealing with these dangerous people only because they have to return. They got to take all that karma, all those gifts, all that nasty entanglement, all those lies, all that foul stuff that they were forcing these children to carry, and others, the innocent ones. They were putting all their shit on the innocent ones, forcing them to carry the burden of their crap, and then coming in during their adult life and playing games with their opportunity to be in love or to feel love. Casting illusions, creating anxiety. They weren't willing to be settled down or be responsible. This is a very prideful, egotistical person who was not fair. But the truth is out. We've got justice in the reverse. There may not even, like, there may just be an execution. like, they may not even get to go to court. They're going to go to court. And then they're going to get punished. Because the truth is being revealed in court. You've got a Knight of Swords. So the truth could be that this Knight of Swords was using love as an escape route. They were trying to bury love in hell so that they could climb up there on their shoulders and then, you know, go through the entry into love. The love that they just destroyed over and over and over again in others. Their teacher, this is an unexpected outcome for this teacher. You know, this indecision in the reverse, it could just be that you know exactly what you're going to do and you're leaving. You know without a doubt. We've got the Eight of Pentacles here. You know without a doubt. You know exactly what you're doing. They may be disconnected from their intuition. We've got apprentice. I've heard these misogynists talking about the collective as though they have the mind of an apprentice. Like you're not one of these know-it-alls. You're not out here touting to the world that you have all the answers and that it must be this way, right in this order, exactly as, you know, at the crack of midnight, you know, on a full moon or, you know, 3 days past or whatever. I mean, you know, you got to rule. And here you are, apprentice, trying new things, perhaps, learning new skills. Unexpected outcome. The teacher's like, this is an unexpected outcome. You didn't know what to do. You did not know what to do. They didn't teach you. They didn't teach you anything. And yet, here you are, the mind of an apprentice, learning new skills and then perfecting them. You're not repeating the past. They are getting called back to the past, though, because they weren't telling the truth about you. And they can't untangle themselves from this web that they tried to attach to you or stick you in. You learned new skills. You're out of here. We've got here and now. Yeah, their pathway, they're getting called back. They got to go do it again. They're guilty of causing damage to you. They're guilty of bringing pain to the Empress, who was here in service to them. She was here to be a nurturer, a healer, to bring love and beauty into their world. And they treated her like a prostitute and tried to bury her in hell. And you know the thing, there was a big hate campaign against Divine Feminine. You know, a lot of these masculines, they prefer, and I'm not saying nothing about, you know, who you choose to love, but this is an organization that actually made it a point. They have a rule book on what they were going to do, and they were at war with the Empress and her services. They wanted to get a contract with these women, gain ownership over their energy and their services, and then flip them into South Node hell, breaking all their promises, and then copycatting them with a masculine dressed as a feminine, or just as a cloned person who is kept alive by the energy that they harvest off of the trapped Empress, and then they dress them up in it, and if they disobey or whatever, then they lose that opportunity, right? So it's a very much a control system, and they were at war with the Empress because the Empress was here in service, and she was giving those things that were necessary to provide for their families to the people. This was why she was here, a gift to the people from God. She was here to guide unions, love, and this family here, wants forgiveness for lying about her, for stealing her freedom. They're losing their freedom now. They lied about her. They tried to stick her in hell. They tried to trap her in hell and suffering forever. They're losing everything. Five of Pentacles. It wasn't theirs to begin with. They hurt a beautiful Empress who felt good for helping people. That was her purpose. And they punished her for it. And lied on her and buried her in their filth. Their entertainment filth. Now they're getting bound. She's leaving them behind. They're guilty of lying, cheating, and stealing. They thought it was entertainment. They really got off on it. The more she suffered, the more passion they felt. Ugh. Now they don't know what to do. They need forgiveness, but they're being restricted. They're being bound. She doesn't give a shit whether they live or die. She no longer gives a shit about these vermin. Let them die in their own freaking rabbit hole. Let them drown in their own freaking games of love. I'm sure there's probably plenty down there who know this game that they've been playing. They should have a lot of fun with that. Now they're overwhelmed and stressed out because you were innocent. They're overwhelmed and stressed out and regretful of what they did to the children, the innocent ones. This Empress doesn't give a shit about what they care about or how they feel. They're in regret. They still want to offer love. You've got this new opportunity here. Ace of Pentacles. These ones are discussing with each other whether Divine Feminine is receptive to flirting. They're grieving. Attention has been brought to something important or to an important person who is chasing after this Empress's destiny. They're receiving discipline right now. They got to surrender their need to control her and her services. They have failed. Them and all their brutality and all those souls that they hurt so bad. Knight of Pentacles, hard work, routine, failure. The Sun, rebirth. There's a rebirth here and somebody doesn't know what to do. They got difficult decisions to make because this magician is in chaos. All that magic they did is coming back on them because you persevered and the wheel is turning and the cycle is over. They're stuck in that crazy web, disconnected from you, disconnected from the community, from the foundation, from the territory. They got to get out. They got to get out. They're being left behind. Can't have this kind of stuff here. Childish. They stripped the value out of the concept of love, out of union, out of sacred connection. They turned it into a filthy, parasite-infested petri dish for mad scientists to freaking investigate, study. People not see they were fouling their own essence and purity? How could they not see that? Why would they make the decision to do that? Why would they disrespect themselves so much? Go F yourself. Fraud. They just wanted to create conflict. They were tempted by the snake. You're not afraid. You're not worried. They're unworthy. You've done your research. You've done your research. And you're getting the land back, Starseed. You're getting your land back from those who they do the very minimum for the very most. You're taking your land back. They're unworthy. You've done the research. You walked through the valley of the shadow of death, that which they framed you for some crime. They stuck you in this space, and you suffered and you suffered and you suffered, but you gathered all the information you needed and you brought it to light. Here, Empress. They lied on you hard. We've got the Ace of Swords in the reverse. Brutal. Freaking chaos. Limited perception. They're at a distance from you. They're holding back from the imagination, or they're being held back from the imagination because you're victorious over this jealous person. It's public knowledge now. They were jealous. They're being held back from telepathy. They're losing their gifts, it sounds like to me. They can't tap into this space anymore because they're so brutal. They thought themselves powerful because they could get into the space of non-magical people who didn't know what was happening to them, and they could drive them crazy and kick back and laugh about how freaking fun it was. Look at all this loosh we're getting. So they were casting illusions. They didn't want to settle down and be responsible. They were very unjust, these egotistical, prideful F-girls and boys. Justice is being served here. They will be punished. The truth is out. Self-care. They will have to go take care of themselves. Or you did take care of yourself, and that's why this is out here, because you're the Empress. You were here in service to teach people how to take care of themselves, and instead all these people decided they were going to shit on you and bury you in the deepest, darkest little pocket of their little outhouse, you know, way down there in the bottom of that freaking pit there. But you're the freaking Empress of self-care. The one who is here to teach them how to love themselves, how to care for themselves. They didn't think they needed a lesson from you, so they thought that going around and being a diseased lust boy or lust girl for fun and profit, getting paid by this freaking devil. They want to defend their beliefs of using love as an escape route. This teacher, this is an unexpected outcome. They didn't teach you anything. They didn't teach you anything. They kept all your knowledge. They shut you down. They stole your memories. They made sure you did not have any connection to who and what it was that you are. However, you have a soul, and that soul is connected to God, and so you received guidance that way. Even if they shut your mind down and you were disconnected from the beautiful family that you were connected to, Empress. They covered your crown. They wrapped it all up. They cursed it. They shut you off. They tried to disconnect you from source. But you have the mind of an apprentice, and you learned all over again how it needed to go when it came to taking care of yourself. We got stay in your own lane in the reverse. You know what? They wrapped your crown. They shut you down. They did not want you knowing what was happening, not only in your own life, but they didn't want you picking up on what they were doing and then relaying it to God, because you are a transmitter receiver, a beautiful instrument of the divine. And they knew that if you were completely activated, if your crown was activated, open, and all of that, that you would know what they were doing, and it would just automatically be relayed to source, because that's who you are. You're the transmitter receiver. You're the divine Empress. Jeez, what a bunch of shitholes. And they didn't want to stay in their own lane. They wanted to go get everybody else's life path, so they decided to take away Mama who was going to tell dad. They decided they would curse the mother who was going to go tell daddy. And whoever it was that was supposed to protect her betrayed her in a big way. Tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. They told lies about this Empress and her ability to be in union or to manage it. They tried to paint her as a prostitute by siphoning her energy while she was alone in some dark space without anybody there to help her through this criminal activity. She's a freaking legend. And they locked her down, wrapped her crown, and stole everything from her and lied about her ability to guide people. They tried to frame her for guiding people down a lustful, whoring path. Pricks. They're losing their freedom. They're losing the money. You're not dealing with these narcissists anymore. You're leaving them behind. They're guilty of lying, cheating, stealing, and they found it entertaining. It was real fun to hurt the children, the light-bearing children, before they even had an opportunity to come into their glow-up as an adult. They want forgiveness. They don't know what to do. They're being restricted. They're losing their gifts. They're losing whatever. They're losing everything. Billionaire. They're being restricted. They're being bound and restricted from this billionaire status, from money, from all of that. They're being restricted from, they could be being restricted from any other portion of this limitless numbers of universes. They could be restricted from any other dimensional reality or planetary system. They're restricted. They're bound. They cannot travel to it. They cannot leave. There's death here. End of a cycle. They're stuck in this rabbit hole where however deep this freaking rabbit hole goes. I heard one of these misogynists say yesterday, I believe it was, that she went deeper than he thought she did. Somebody went real freaking deep. They're drowning. They're playing games with love. It could also be this Empress who they put real freaking deep, who rose back up by learning how to do it with her mind of an apprentice, because they wiped her memory. She had to learn all over again how to manage herself as the Empress who was here to lead and guide into health and well-being and love. Families. They separated her from everything. They stripped her of all her knowing, including her identity, and she had to learn from scratch without anything except the silver cord connecting her to Source. And it wasn't the psychic communications. It was a different type of telepathy, because they had wrapped her crown and cursed it. So it was non-functioning. That's why she's a freaking legend. They shut her down in every single way that they could think of. And still, she rose to the top. All these masculines and their girls, using the light and the energy of innocence to curse, bind, hex, steal, using love. Oh, hi, honey. Getting people pregnant, swearing that they're going to help. Feral F-boys and F-girls, irresponsible. They're emotionally immature. They don't care about themselves enough to freaking add value to their soul. They just want to go out and be a feral F-boy or an F-girl. And it's like, are you kidding me? Well, that's what you want to be. Then you can go be it. Go be it way the hell over there, because you broke every single promise. You can just go make yourself absent. Go stay absent. Go stay absent. The world has learned how to get along without you, and it's just fine. The world has learned how to get along without you. You know, and that was one of the things that my mother narcissist said to me. She said, after many years of abuse, I told her I had just had enough. At the age of 50, I gave myself a birthday present. I said, you know what, I'm done with this mess. And I told her that this was the end of her effing with my mind. And she says, well, if you don't need me then. And I was like, what in the hell? I hadn't talked to her in like 7 years. And when I did, she was trying to mess with me, and I shut it down. And I was like, wow, you trained me not to need you. So to say something like that is so freaking stupid. I mean, where somebody does, they ignore you for like 7 years, and then all of a sudden they try to mess with your head, and you shut them down in a hurry, and then they say, well, if you don't need me in your life. I'm like, what the hell? Are they really that messed up? That they can stay away all that time and think that you're actually missing them and you're suffering because you need them, and they feel powerful that they're holding that away from you. And then when you tell them years later that you're done and that they're done, then they like, well, if you don't need me then. And it's like, wait a minute, you haven't even been here for many years. What? They're sick, man. Ace of Pentacles, manifestation. You got a new opportunity, a new venture. You're going places and you're leaving this behind. They're grieving. It did not work out the way that they had thought. You're bringing attention to something important or somebody important who is chasing after your destiny, Empress. They're receiving some discipline here. They got to surrender their need to control you and your stuff, your life, your mind, your happiness. They have failed here. They have failed here. They were routinely working hard to snack on the innocent children, on the innocent Empress. They were feeding on people. Feeding on people. Pretending to be important guides of family and life. Privileged people feeding on humans through sexuality and false promises of love, actually winding up being some form of entanglement in some freaking rabbit hole by some freaking game player, some freaking feral F-boy, F-girl. I don't give a crap about nobody. So it's being announced. They're freaking triggered. They're triggered. This is a trauma-bonded fashion witch. She's been trying to vampire an empath unicorn, and maybe she has been doing this. This is a love-bombing, gaslighting simp, doing the most for somebody who cares the least. This could be an influencer out there on social media somewhere, some freaking influencer with privilege. This bitch did not heed the warnings, or maybe she's being warned by the shadow demon cult leader to troll the oracle. So you've got some little trauma-bonded little bitch, privileged bitch out there trolling the oracle, Empress, legend, wanting to snack on them. This is what they've been doing on a routine, and somehow they have failed to do this. So you're being trolled by a trigger bond, by one of them trauma-bonded fashion witches, a feral F-girl, a slave. And rather than fight the slave master, they decided to fight the sister, the mother. Air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Go F yourself. Starseed is taking the land back. Whatever this vampire is, this feral vampire, freaking shadow demon cult, the Starseed is taking this land back from this feral, trauma-bonded cult. They've been found unworthy. God said, you will never give it back. They will never get it back. They will never, ever live in your house again. They will never receive your services again. They will never taste the sweetness that you had to offer again. They're going to be put at a distance. They're going to remain at a distance. The star seed is getting the land back. They will never, ever, ever get it back. They're unworthy. You're doing your research. There's a divorce here. You're victorious over this liar, this jealous little liar. There's a divorce. There's a breakup. They're in fear. They're an illusionist. They were very unfair, egotistical, little sex fiends, refusing to settle down or be responsible. The truth is out, and justice is being served. The truth is that you were taking care of yourself. You took care of yourself. The truth is out. Justice is being served. The law of cause and effect. They have to go learn to take care of themselves. We got caution. They're going to have to use caution. They got to take care of themselves. They're going to use caution. They got to be careful. Some shit's going to happen. They got themselves tangled up in this atrocious reality that they were trying to weave for you. All of them working together to try to weave the most atrocious, painful suffering for this Empress legend. They wanted it to be so awful. They all got together and weaved this thing. They were used in love as an escape. They want to defend their beliefs, why they didn't stay in their own lane. This is an unexpected outcome for this teacher. They didn't teach you anything. They thought for sure that you would never ever, it was impossible. You didn't have any knowledge. How could you have risen? Well, how did you? Because they sacrificed the Empress, and then God resurrected her, and then led her back into an ascension. And now all this is being cleared up. She didn't do it. God did it. She's connected to source. Heaven is connected to her, and it's flowing into this realm. And these guys, by unaliving her, by trying to destroy her, they intentionally destroyed their connection to source. And they only were connected because they were siphoning the intellectual property out of her while she was trapped. And it's not just one. There are many of these innocent people that they did this to, that they harvested their intellectual property, their mind, their messaging, and they tried to steal the identity and behave as though they were. And this is why the Empress is the legend. You strip everything away from her. Her family, her love, her identity, her stability, her health, her well-being, her mental, her crown. You wrapped it. You disconnected her from the one that was guiding her to guide you. Freaking feral little jackwagons. God said that's enough. They've done it before. This isn't the first time. It's just the first time it failed. Patience. Patience. You're very patient. And just a few more months. Good things are coming. You're leaving the past behind, but they're good. They're being called back into it. They're guilty and feeling the pain from the damage that they have caused to a legendary Empress who was here in service to them. They told so many lies. They are guilty of telling so many lies. This is the 10, like the 10 of Wands, the 10 of Swords. We're at the maximum heaviness, the maximum pain, the maximum ridiculousness of these freaking feral entities thinking themselves so clever. They were going to replace the Empress, the Divine Mother, with a freaking pod that they could grow clones in or whatever. Or a robot that can actually birth babies, they say. That's what they're looking for. We've got confession and challenges. Somebody is receiving challenges. So they might be having a challenge trying to confess to you. They've been cut out of the imagination. Those who are jealous of you have been cut out of the mental body. They've lost their ability to communicate. So they're having challenges confessing. They're having challenges reaching you. You were here to guide marriages, to guide unions as the Divine Mother. And you got these jealous little hoe bags in your old, soon to be obsolete familial line, wanting your forgiveness for lying on you, for stealing your freedom. They're losing their freedom. They're losing the pentacles. You're not dealing with this narcissist anymore. We've got commitment. You are in a commitment. Things are getting, you're committed to not dealing with this narcissist anymore. You're committed to making certain that these narcissists do not have any place whatsoever in this new cycle, in this new territory. They will not have a place here. They will not play this game again. They will not run around like there's some freaking goody two-shoes while they're out there effing children, screwing up marriages, trying to destroy faithful, loyal, powerful family trees for generations and the wealth that comes with it. All because they didn't want any challengers for their sense of authority. They wanted to be your God, and they still do. They still do. They're still out there, wanting to do a 3D crime. They're really going for it. They really want to do that. I got to get out of this energy real soon. I'm so agitated. When you realize the kind of world that they developed, that they actually developed this kind of a framework for humanity and the people, and they actually think of themselves as responsible leaders, it's blowing my mind. We got spy. Somebody's spying on you. They're being restricted from the money. They're being restricted from the cosmos. They're being watched. They're being watched. There's death here. They're stuck in a crazy drama, a rabbit hole for playing games at love. They're going under and they can barely keep float. They're in regret, overwhelmed, and stressed for what they have done to the innocent ones. The innocent ones. And their idea of innocence was virgin. Very young. They're being let go. These absolute losers are being let go. They shouldn't be procreating anyway. So you're getting abundance. You're moving on to a new venture. They're grieving. You're brought attention to some important thing here. The important thing is that this person was chasing after your destiny. And now they don't want to chase you anymore. They're receiving some kind of a discipline. They got to surrender their need to control you. They have failed to snack on you. This privileged person has failed to snack on you, or this was their routine. They've been snacking on you routinely. That's how they've been getting their sense of privilege. They trap empresses, legendary empresses, or others that have this powerful, potent energy, emperor, high priestess, hierophant. They get them as children, right? And then they do that, and then they siphon off of them. They snack on their energy, their essence, and then they, pretend. Could be a water sign. This was the card that flipped up before, so I guess it really needs to be here. This is a water sign. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Somebody in an important role, somebody in a status of privilege. The way that they've gotten that is by routinely snacking on the real deal. Gold digger is being told to move on. Your guardian says, give it time. When it comes to intimacy, that you will be traveling soon, and then you will be manifesting date night and opening your heart. Well, okay, so then you will be manifesting date night. You got to be careful because there's a third-party enemy here still trying to get you to open your heart, and they want to come back and they want to get a honeymoon, move in with you, and they want to get pets and stuff. They want to see you as a pet. Luck is on your side, fire sign. You know that this is a liar just trying to repeat a cycle with you. They are gambling right now, and this could be an earth sign trying to communicate with you. Be very cautious with anybody coming into your world right now. You may be getting an overload of intimate energy right now. I'm shocked. I'm going to go ahead and leave this one here. I hope that it brings clarity to something that you already intuitively knew. And I'll see you on the next one, everybody.